Hello, my beautiful friends, and happy 2018. Just want to check in with you guys and give you some updates. Obviously, if you're interested in purchasing a year ahead reading, I'm offering those on my website below till the end of the month. Okay, so 1/31 will be the last day I'm taking bookings for those. As you've heard me talk about prior, I do want to travel in 2018 to host some events around America. Right now, it's looking amazing for New York City, the Bay, and Orlando. Okay, I need at least a crowd of 15 to 20 people at minimum to host these events. It's looking like I could definitely do that in those cities. So drop comments below if you think that your city could, rustle up that many people, and we'll see what we can do. Also, obviously, as you can see, I don't always get around to general love readings every month, and that's because creating content takes time, and obviously my private clients come first. Now, the readings that you're watching right now will always be free and will always be done every single month, and they will be available to you. However, I want to be able to do these in-person events. I want to be able to offer you guys more free content in a different capacity and more paid services. So in order to do that, I'm considering making the monthly general love readings by pay subscription. It wouldn't be the kind where you rent them through YouTube. It would be something where you'd go to my site and you'd pay $2 or less, between $1.50 and $2. And on the 2nd of every month, it will be dropped in your email inbox as a private YouTube video, kind of like how if you've ever had a private reading with me, how those are delivered. So like I said, this isn't an effort because I don't want to raise my prices. I love the prices that I have. I think that I'm very accessible to my clients, and I want to continue it being that way. So in order to continue expanding and offering you guys more, that is my idea. Please let me know what you think if you'd be interested in something like that. As well as the lovely jewelry that I'm rocking today is from Gray Baby Gallery, who's based in LA. She has an Etsy store. I actually found her when I was shopping for myself this Christmas. And what's amazing is her stuff is so affordable. And every single cent goes to helping to provide medical care and food for the LA homeless pets. So if you're interested, check her out below. And as always, if you need anything from me, if you want to get in touch with me, all that information is below. Love you guys. Ooh, Virgo. There was one or two other signs this month that just needed to speak before I could even get through my prayer or whatever. Hi guys. Okay, listen. So, I do feel like the energy is lightening up for the most part. However, I'm feeling this tension in my left arm. There's this hesitation to act on your intuition, and I think it's because that you're struggling with, is this intuition or is this, me being afraid? Is this me, just being triggered and being reactionary? Is this me? There's this question. The upside is you're questioning yourself instead of questioning other people, which, I mean, we question ourselves a lot anyways. However, and all the resistance is coming on my left side. So there's walls that still need to be knocked down as far as trusting that what you perceive and know in your heart is truth, and all those thoughts that stumble in after are lies. They are lies from the ego. And actually, I was sitting in reflection this morning. I love reflecting over coffee in the morning. I was sitting there and I dream a lot. I get a lot of insights in my dreams, and I was just sitting there and I was like, it's amazing how, especially as you advance on your spiritual journey, there's so much subtlety to the things that you perceive. And because the ego even then tries to get more subtle, and the ego tries to slip in little things that, you could take the thing that you perceived on an intuitive level, right? And you know in your heart what it means and what it's indicating. But the ego can also slip in other indicators to make you want to believe that instead. And again, as you advance on this spiritual journey, things get more nuanced, and it's not always very clear, like, oh my God, this is full of fear and this is full of love. It's like, well, that makes sense. And we're logical people, so fear can make sense because we've experienced A, B was the result, so, and then I ended up at C. So if I'm experiencing C minor, you know what I mean? Like, there's this linearness to it all. But we know that linear existence and linear time and how things pan out in that regard is very much explicit to this dimension. So when we're perceiving intuition, which is from other dimensions and other beings and whatever, it's not going to make linear sense. Okay? There's a focus this month on relationship, and I'm feeling, again, as well, potentially with the King of Wands, fire sign. I don't necessarily know if that's their sun sign, but there's a fire element there. This is about picking up on the things that you have been perceiving for a long time, and I think it's really interesting that we're going from the Ace to the 10. That's an 11. So this can be somebody that you feel is like your person. I say it like that because I don't really feed into the labels of all of that stuff. Because if we're multidimensional beings, that means we have multiple aspects of ourselves that could be aligned as a soulmate or a twin flame or whatever you want to call it. So I see you getting clarity this month, Virgo, on where your energy is invested, where you're still giving your power away in relationships, and how to call it back. And again, it's become very nuanced. It's not, this isn't like devil level codependency. This is very subtle. It's in the things that you say. It's in the ways that you believe about relationships. And I'm also feeling it's your fear of something not being said. Whether you're withholding or you fear the other person is withholding. There's this fear that something is not being said, and you're going to find that, like, okay, so it's like you're feeling something is not being said, something is not being told to you. And that fear is getting muddled into your intuition about what is best for you in these scenarios, in these relationships with other people. And then you want to press them to try to get answers. And ultimately that can be daunting as it is, because Seven of Pentacles, we can't decide when things will manifest. We can't decide when things are going to take form. But we do have to sit into trust. With the Ten of Swords and the Hanged Man here, it's time to put to bed this way of looking at the situation, the way of looking at relationships, like something is always being hidden from you. I know you've lived through a lot of bonds that were deceptive, where you chose to be a martyr and you chose to self-serve over serving yourself. Or rather, serve them, right? Self-serve. You ignored your needs. You ignored your needs for the needs of another. But similar to what I told Leo, actually, you have to trust that you have transcended that way of being. Now, that doesn't mean that you're still perfect in the sense that you don't sometimes prioritize people's feelings over yours, or prioritize wanting to save people or help people over saving yourself and helping yourself. But there's a stagnancy that is being eradicated this month. And what I love about the Hanged Man, even though it does talk about stillness, he's illuminating every chakra. You have every color on this card. So he's very much aligned. So through this halt in relationships that is slowly coming to an end, through this pause that I think has been lasting for 6 to 10 months, like 6 months to a year at least. Like, I think that a lot of you have been in the same pattern for a while, and it's not super detrimental like you have been in the past, but it's not awesome either, and it's like limbo, right? This Hanged Man is like limbo. But you have gained a lot in limbo, and it is finalizing your desire to, like, mentally overkill yourself with what if this, what if that, what about this, what about that? Because we know that that just puts you in a spiral. And then you really don't know what is your intuition and what is your fear. And it takes, in my opinion, it takes Virgo longer to clear out those kind of energies than other signs. And it's because we're grounded like an earth sign and really stuck on what's real and what's not real. As well as we're ruled by Mercury, which is air. So we think a lot and we want to collect all the information and we want to, you know, divvy it out. We want to see, okay, this falls in this category, this falls in this category. Where does it leave me? And then we're the sign of service. So we want to serve the other people and we ultimately want to make people better. But we forget that this may just be a time that we're making ourselves better. So I feel like this whole pause and hold that you've been on in Virgo is really to make you a better person in relationships of all kind and to show you where, you know, you still have the tendency to want to give your power away and how to finally reclaim that through trusting what comes through first and not questioning why said information is coming through. Just letting it hit your heart and letting that be enough. Okay? All right, my babies. So, do you love this cat shirt? Oh, you know, you get real comfortable with yourself when you don't care about how many people know you're a cat lady. Anyways, I definitely am feeling a romantic tone this month, Virgo, but also just in general, like, and I think quite a few signs have this similar message. The star has been in basically, I think every sign so far. Every single sign, the star has come up somewhere. So this is there's been a huge test of faith and how much we're willing to be vulnerable and believe in our intuitive abilities and believe in what we know to be true in our heart. And I'm laughing because the King of Wands showed up in the heart space with the ruined love. I definitely think that for those of you that are watching for romantic reasons, you are dealing with either a Cancer, a fire sign, or a person who is just very determined on doing things their way, and that bothers you, Virgo. Because, hello, we always think we know best, and a lot of times we do know, low-key do know best, but we can't make people see that, and it's very exhausting to constantly be, like, advising other people on what to do that's best, and then at the same time, like, we're not focusing on ourselves. So that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting here, Virgo, especially with the overall energy being death. Okay? One, we're in the season of death. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, new year, blah, blah, blah. In my opinion, the new year starts in March at the equinox because we're in a period of isolation and in rejuvenation and in, I almost said regurgitation, which is gross. It's a you know, a refining of who we are. Hello, with Eight of Pentacles in the headspace, we are working. Okay, we are working on what we love. We are learning how to take charge of what we love. But there is an undercurrent here of confusion. Whether you're arguing with other people or you're feeling like you need to prove yourself to other people verbally, I definitely feel like some of you Virgos are getting into verbal altercations over what you love, with people you love, or proving that you love them. Like, there's this sense of like, look, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm telling you. And if you're telling someone else that you love them, or you're telling someone else that you're dedicated, or you're telling someone else that, you know, there's love there, there's a need for you to take action on it. And it's not because your words aren't sincere. It's just because just like you wouldn't want someone just saying like, well, I love you, but then doing whatever, you also have to do that. And I'm feeling like the actions need to be turned in towards yourself. Like, yes, telling other people that we're invested is important. And again, this is all types of love relationships, but I do feel like romance is taking a precedence here. But this is also related to work that you're really passionate about, because Lord knows I've never met a Virgo that didn't love their work. So we can sit here all day and say like, well, I love what I do, and I'm here, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm this, and I'm that. But if we're not dedicating the physical time to breed love, if you will, to fuel love. I almost just pictured like, you know how sourdough bread is made with a starter and you have to feed it and you keep taking from that starter to make larger loaves. Like, that's kind of what I'm feeling here. Like, love is something that you continuously have to feed, Virgo, and you have to feed it at the source. You are the starter. You are the source. Okay? without the love that, you know, if you can't keep your own fire burning, if you can't keep that own lust for life for you, and if you don't keep fueling the multiple things that you love, not just the people that you love, if you don't fuel your passion projects, if you don't put your heart in your work, you're going to get burnt out. And it's mostly because you're going to be busy putting out other people's fires. And that's going to leave you in a place where you're feeling exposed, obviously. So, you know, self-love is the best love, but I know that we don't love that brand of love. We love loving other people. We love feeling validated through the act of loving someone else and pushing up someone else and being someone else's cheerleader. And it's not that you're not being appreciated. I just feel like you're wasting a little bit of your energy. And hello, you guys know I'm Virgo Sun, Virgo Rising. This is so about me too. So with death as your overall theme, change is imminent, right? You're in a cycle of changing. I'm feeling more than anything your way of identifying with struggle, which I actually told Cancer as well. We do have the Chariot here. There's a new way. You know, you've identified with struggle and you've identified with the vibration of love in a certain type of way, and have had expectations that it was going to play out in a certain type of way. And in your effort to shift that, you have tipped to the other extreme, I feel, a little bit, and you're constantly like engaging in conversation that ultimately is wasting your time. Whether those people or those situations are loving towards you or not is a total, you know, is not even relevant. It's just the fact that there's a negating here in conversation. There's a struggle to communicate and how those communications aren't lining up with what you're acting on, okay? What you're being asked to release is the Ace of Wands with the Ten of Swords. Both of these cards came back, right? We had the Ace of Wands before? No, we had Ace of Swords. With the rune Protection on the Ace of, on the Ten of Swords. Oh my gosh. Straight up, Virgo, for me, and I have a hat on, I'm like literally holding my hat because this is like so triggering. Honestly, this is saying that killing yourself mentally, playing stories over and over and constantly analyzing and overanalyzing and triple analyzing about what is right and what is wrong and what are you doing well and what is not happening right and what is this effort to protect yourself. Like, so what if you end up making a mistake? You know, so what if you end up loving someone that you know, wasn't your forever? And Lord knows we love a guarantee, but we have found out through many trials and tribulations that nothing is guaranteed. Not a darn thing. Not a darn thing. So you've been mentally exhausting yourself in order to attempt to protect your heart, I feel. Protect yourself, again, from this Cancer or this King of Wands. You know, whew, this is a lot. With the Ace of Wands here, I feel like you keep adding fuel to the fire. It's like something is dead. Something is dead. Like, and you keep trying to ignite it. And it's like you'll take any little excuse, any little action that you see or you perceive, any little insight or itch you get, you've been using it as an excuse to like drum it all over in your brain again. And again, it's because you want to protect yourself from getting hurt. That is a very clear message here. Okay? But again, the way you identify with love is changing, and the way that you see love move through your life is changing. So you need to loosen your grip, and you need to let that last bit of fear go, that you can, you know, like, oh, if I'm just hyper vigilant about what's happening and what people are saying and what I'm seeing and what I'm perceiving and blah, 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 then I can stop it. I can stop pain. I can stop these undesirable circumstances. I can stop. Like, you can't, though. And the more you focus on prevention, like, the more you're not even sitting into the now, because peace is found in the now. Like, there is a time and space for analyzation, obviously, hello, but it's not now. I feel like this is like mentally defeating, and you've been trying to protect yourself by like killing things in your head, like, oh, if I just write this person off, or if I just, you know, pick apart every little bit Yeah, Queen of Cups with the Emperor and the Hierophant. And I've been laughing because, okay, I pulled the Hierophant as a clarifier for Cancer and Leo. And I was laughing because I've been pulling this in my own personal readings. And I don't really pull this card very often. So I've been laughing about it because I don't like to regard myself as traditional. And that's always what the Hierophant is about as well. And I feel like that's a whole thing here. Like, there's a certain image, right? There's a certain image that you hold on an emotional level about what stability looks like to you, what you'd want in a partner, how to bring that about into reality. And it's becoming too much of a burden to keep it alive. And it's not because it can't happen for you. It's just you can't build it on your own. Like, all you can do is just be the best person that you're going to be. And if people find that amazing, then they're going to join your party. If people are not about it, they're not going to join your party. So obviously love and relationships require effort and they require you to be present. But I feel like you're doing more than the other people. And it's not because the other people don't care about you. And it's not because the situations are necessarily like negative towards you. It's just that your approach is depleting your energy. Okay. The door that's not open that was once closed. We have the Chariot with the Star. And the rune we have here is victory on the Star. So victory, hello, is the message for the Chariot anyways. So the key to success and the key to moving away from being at the crossroads that you see here in the Lovers, right? Because we go from the Lovers to the Chariot, is to be vulnerable and have faith that you will be victorious no matter what. And the only way you're going to be victorious is if you believe in the power of your heart. Again, not in your word, not in your ability to pick up every little in detail about what people are doing. It's about focusing on yourself and believing in the bigger picture. No matter what you're seeing right now, you need to believe and have faith in the bigger picture, Virgo. Because the Chariot, you know, like whether this is a Cancer or not, Cancer energy is embodied in the Chariot, and there's a cautiousness to the Chariot. However, it's not Virgo type of cautiousness. It's like, well, I need to know how I feel in every aspect before I move forward. So it's not a mental process. It's an embodiment process. And it's a knowing, like, here's the struggles I still have. Here's the parts of me that are still kind of hard to love, that I haven't really quite figured it out yet. Here's the parts of me that are super awesome. And then give yourself a break. Like, I feel like, and I think Leo's video is let yourself off the hook. Like, every Virgo watching this needs to give themselves a pat on the back, okay? You're okay and you have come so far. But it's time to let that wall down, to stop meddling in these mentalities that you attempt, again, to control the outside world and protect yourself from pain. And just then acknowledge that you will be victorious if you just believe that the dream is possible, that perfect relationship, that perfect job, that thing that you love is going to flourish. You have to believe in it, and then you will see movement. Okay, but the movement from the Chariot takes time. Yeah, 7 of Crystals. It takes time. It's going to take time, maybe 7 weeks. I'm not, because this is a 7 as well. I don't necessarily feel 7 months. Could be, though. You're worried about what you don't see, and that's negating what you say you believe in. Sorry about the darkness. So in order to achieve the emotional victory and shift that you have been striving for and wanting so badly and trying to protect yourself from failing at, you have to just let it all unfold. And again, we do have the Death card here, but I don't necessarily see this as a death of a relationship as much as a way of approaching love and relationships, okay? Your current energy as it relates to all of this, in your head, we have the 8 of Pentacles. Again, in your heart, the King of Wands with the rune Love. And the 5 of Swords. Now, just as an aside, in my experience, the 5 of Swords, yeah, you know, traditionally it's a lose-lose conversation and all that stuff, and that's all fine and dandy, and it's true. However, it's not always that somebody wants to hurt the other person and someone's trying to win at all costs. Okay? A little bit I feel like this is two people pushing their own personal agenda And then in that effort, they're not hearing what the other person is really saying. So definitely make sure that even though you want to get your point across, even if this King of Wands isn't a person, if this is you, this is the energy of your heart, the energy of love. You are like, listen, I'm not going to not speak my truth. I'm not going to be passive in love. I'm going to speak. I'm going to go. I'm going to charge. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be strong and courageous. But a little bit the King of Wands can get too fired up and can come on too strong. So you may be coming on so strongly that you're then getting into arguments with people because they're like, whoa, like, where did this even come from? Like, why are you pressing this issue? Yeah, the Hermit. So, and then I got Death. So, really reflect, okay? I don't see you as withdrawing physically from relationships necessarily, but I do see you withdrawing some of the extreme conversations you're having. Like, don't try to figure things out in conversation with people. Fully process and reflect before you come to the table with your words, okay? Because I just see this as unnecessary energy. I don't see it as negative. It doesn't feel negative to me. It's just like you went from not saying anything and letting your needs pile up and pile up and pile up and then they don't get met and then you're totally devastated to like screaming your needs and screaming what you need in love and demanding it. And then obviously everyone's like, whoa, like I have my own life. And that's again an aspect of codependency. So to learn healthy dependency and healthy attachment, we have to find the middle ground. And with the Eight of Pentacles in your heart, one, I think focusing on your work right now, especially the work that you really love, is important. But also realizing that you're working on your communication skills and you're working on how to command the love that you want without doing the most. Okay? And know that you are a work in progress, and that's okay, Virgo. You're coming into a state of mastery of your mind as well. Yeah, again, we got the Hanged Man, which in this deck is called perspective. You're mastering your perspective on the past and how the past has influenced you to approach love in this way. I feel like you went from being like a total victim to like, you know, something that is on the other opposite end because you refuse to be a victim again. But this soulmate, these divine connections, these connections that remind you of the past that are somehow triggering to you, because I feel like people are triggering you and you try to fire back and make sure that they don't do what the person that originally triggered you does to you. You're making it more trouble than you have to. Just because someone triggers you does not mean they have the same intention that another person, that, you know, the original person that triggered you had. And that's where the Hermit comes in, serenity, when we withdraw and we reflect, okay, let me work through these thoughts. Let me master my process of emotion to thought form, okay? Because this is a full-blown resurrection. And what I love about the Death card, as a side note, notice how the people are yielding to him, but all of the vegetation is alive and well. So the things that die, not that humans aren't natural, but the things that die are not natural and necessary to your way of being, okay? Death only kills what no longer is working, okay? So you can't fear what is going to be left or what is going to be taken, because that's not for you to decide. Our judgment may be pretty supreme, but it's not perfect. Spirit's advice for you, again, we have the Ace of Swords with the Lovers, which we don't see too often. And the room we have here is fertility. Now, okay. I definitely feel my heart is like hurting looking at these cards. I definitely feel that this is an alignment of your divine masculine and divine feminine within your single being, and learning that the old paradigm, and this is many of us, this is not just Virgos, but the old paradigm did require, you know, the two energies to be in two separate bodies and merge together in a union to create the energy as a one whole, a singular whole. However, now in the energy that we've been granted in this divine space and time on earth, we understand that we can unify our divine feminine and masculine within one person. And then when you create a relationship, you create a third entity. A healthy relationship is a third entity. It is you whole, another person whole, in the relationship itself. And as you come up on a time where you are fertile with the clarity to guide you on what next step to take, there's a need to choose divinity or choose humanity. And when I say choose humanity, I mean the way that this human form, this ego, prefers to play things out. And the rune fertility for me here is saying that whatever you choose will be ripe with lessons, regardless. Okay? And in that regard, there is no wrong choice. Okay, we have the Seven of Cups. So there is a lot of choices, I feel, that are really kind of beckoning you, and you're having a hard time to decide what is for you. But look, we have the Ace of Crystals behind that, the Two of Cups, and the Queen of Cups, and the Five of Cups, which is ass. But there's an opportunity here to really choose with your heart and to shut out the mind. And when we shut out the mind, we are offered the ultimate clarity. And I love how this Ace of Swords clarity is coming from the King of Hearts, and it's also coming from the heart space. Did I say King of Hearts? Wow, that's hilarious. So the mind will never give you the answers the heart needs. And look, we have the Six of Pentacles, and we have oppression, which is the devil in this deck. And then we have the World. This is a choice, right? To finally shift out of dwelling in fear, dwelling in heavy karmic connections, feeling like you need that drasticness, that extreme quality, that codependency to feel comfortable in relationships. So with the Six of Crystals here, I don't think that you're in an unhealthy relationship. I feel like you want to perpetuate the dynamic of someone needing you or you feeling needed. Whew. Ugh. And with the Seven of Cups here, you may be getting dream insights about this. One of my favorite dream processes to do is to set an intention for your dreams before going to sleep and then observing them. And obviously they're going to be nuanced. And reading into those is a whole new process. Again, you have to sit into your heart space and know that your heart will always lead the way. Okay, and that's not a thought process. It's a knowing. It's an embodiment. So as we make choices on how to balance out our energy and go into a place of freedom, we leave behind fear, and then we have the universe here. We open up it into a new world. And the Tower is behind that. So I think you're going to be really surprised what yielding to source will do. Okay, I just feel like this is the end of thought for you, Virgo. It's the end of thought. The most likely outcome, we have the Ten of Wands with the Knight of Wands. On the Knight of Wands, we have the rune Trust. So trust that it's safe to let down this burden that you've been carrying, to let down this feeling like if you don't carry the relationship, or if you don't carry the heaviness or the struggle of the people that you love, that they're not going to find you worthy or valuable anymore. And that's not to say that you need to cut them off either. Like, that's a message here. Like, you don't necessarily need to cut people off, but you do need to stop trying to fix things for them and stop trying to carry the load for them. And also you need to trust who comes in after you make this shift, and who comes in after you sit into your heart space and become a little bit more passive, if you will. And then we got the Star again. Yes. So this is a huge test of faith and in a deep trust in the divine about them. They will bring you the loving relationships that you need to grow, and that you don't need to micromanage the people that you love in order for them to love you the best way that they can. You know what I mean? Like, there's this intense activity and action that you've been taking in the love category to kind of make sure you get the best love, and people know how to love you and know what you need, and it's gotten kind of aggressive. And in the meantime, you've forgotten that love is an embodiment. It's an essence. And you don't have to consistently prove to people why you are worthy of that. I am learning to be more creative every day. I direct my creative talents towards music, art, dance, writing, anything that gives me pleasure. I love this as well because this is saying that you can get a lot of self-expression and emotion and concerns and fears and whatever out through art processes. And I know that's not our normal MO, but I definitely see that being helpful. I myself have been telling myself for like 2 weeks that I'm going to get back into painting because it's very cathartic, and I was a dancer for years, so I also find that very cathartic. But anyways, Virgo, sorry to preach on y'all. You know I love you so much. It is my pleasure as always, and I will connect with you again soon. Peace.